Morning, and welcome to this Friday's edition of Fridays with Foster. I am your host, Foster McCarl. Hope everybody's having a great day. Been a bit of a freeze here where we are now. If you're joining me, it's probably the best part about us being virtual is the fact that we don't have to get out of the house. Although I did this morning, the streets were rough right around my house, but not once you got out there. So I'm waiting. This is still the coffee, peach coffee I've been drinking the last few weeks. I think it's gonna, unless I come up with a better plan for switching up my coffees, I think it's gonna be a monthly coffee change because my shipment is supposed to have gotten here by today, I believe. My peach shipment for the subscription service for specialty coffee. So if you're just joining me now, that's something I often do is I talk about the coffee that I drink as well. But today we are going to be talking about something much more exciting. So we're going to be talking about quotes and a tracking process there. So we have whatever you want to call it. Some people call it quotes, some people call it bids, some people call it estimates, proposals, offers, maybe a pitch or a project, something like that. Whatever you want to call it is when you get an RFP or some kind of a request and you are fulfilling it with a list of what you are going to do, how much you are going to do it for. So the I think the normal thing for a lot of companies to do, or from what I have seen, is number one, there's like four steps. Number one, you make the quote. Number two, you deliver the quote. Number three, you hope you get the job. And number four, you either celebrate or you chastise somebody in the company who maybe didn't didn't take a chance uh, to do it right, as you might think. And we'll talk a little bit about that. But what we really want to do is we really want to establish a system, right? And you remember what system stands for: save yourself stress, time, energy, and money. System. There's a reason that we have a system for things. Number one, we can track what we're doing. We can track how exactly we're doing it. As we expand our business, we can bring other people on board to utilize the same systems that we do to do things the way we do them. And you can also improve them by taking one aspect of the system and shifting it. So systems are extremely important. Otherwise, you're just kind of running around and I don't know, just you're just trying to chase something. As I think Keith Cunningham says, there's nothing worse than enthusiastically running in the wrong direction, and you are just chasing things in the wrong direction. So, um, John Wooden's quote rings true on this, and he said, "If you don't have time to do it right, when will you find the time to do it over?" The excuse I hear the most from clients and the like is that I just don't have time. There's not really such a thing as having time necessarily. It's about prioritizing. What I find is that, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of time management, but I find a lot of people, they are just doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They should hire somebody else to do it, or most times they are already paying somebody else who could be doing it, but they're not letting go of what needs to be done. So, as far as the time to develop a system, it's a little bit of upfront work in comparison, but usually what we're doing when we develop a system is we're taking the first step is we're taking what we always do anyway and we're putting it down on paper and then we're toying with it. And then the efficiency factor comes on the end once we're following the system. So, system, quote tracking. So for quotes, we can look at this from the standpoint of a contractor or subcontractor. You can look at it from a sales perspective. If you're providing a service, if you're maybe if you're a manufacturer and you've got to sell maybe something wholesale or make some kind of a deal or agreement there. However, you provide your clients on a larger scale, Usually e-commerce isn't something like that. Retail is not like that because people just give you a financial exchange for the goods in front of them or on their screen or at hand. But this would be usually when we're potentially uh, in a room, virtual or otherwise, with other people trying to get the same job. So again, it's a quote, it's a bid, it's an estimate, it's a proposal, it's an offer, it's something like that. All right, so here's what we do. So with quote tracking, number one, so there are different levels that we like to track the continuum of the quotes in your business. The very first thing that we do is what I like to call, and you can name these whatever you want. I just want you to understand the theory behind it. Upcoming bids. So if you're in construction, one of the things you'll look at is maybe you're watching a specific trade, or you're talking to people in real estate or some other commercial market where you can get an idea of who's buying what properties when for construction. Looking over the horizon and seeing maybe if you're selling signs. Let's just say you're selling signs. Well, who needs signs? New businesses or businesses that are changing names. So one place that you would look for upcoming bids in that business would be people that are buying other businesses or businesses that are for sale, because if they're for sale, somebody is probably, hopefully for them, going to be buying them, thereby needing a new sign. So what we want to do is we want to look for these upcoming bids. Nobody has asked you for a bid yet. And this is why this is a very proactive part of the process. Most people do not undertake this step because nobody's really pushed to do this. This is just a far outreaching view of what could be coming down the pipe. Most people don't look at this, but the better we are at identifying these potential opportunities, the easier it's going to be to take advantage of them ahead of time. And also from a business ownership standpoint, when your people are utilizing these tactics, because hopefully if you're the owner, you're not the one doing the bids yourself. You should have somebody in the business doing that because that's a bit more tactical. Owners are strategic. Now, once you have somebody doing something tactical, we can also do it strategically, which is what this system is. But whoever you have that's doing this, they can actually provide for you a longer standing financial view of what is to come in the future when we're looking at upcoming bids. So step one, we track the upcoming bids. And that's just, you're not waiting for them to come to market. You're keeping your view on the horizon. Okay, number two, what I like to call active bids. Active bids are bids that we are currently working on as a business. Okay. Uh, However long we've had them, whatever else we need to do, if we need to get some more labor, if we're waiting for numbers on materials or something else for manufacturing or whatever it is, the the idea of active bids are so we know internally how many bids do we have that are on our plate now. These are things that we are actively engaging in. They've got a deadline. We want to get in front of them as soon as possible. If they were recognized in upcoming bids, then we know they're there, but we want to track them. Okay. It makes it much easier so we're not surprised by anything like a deadline. Okay. So again, active bids, we're working on them, but they have yet to be delivered. Then we have open bids. So an open bid, what I call an open bid, is a bid that is has been completed. Let me just double check my camera. I think my other camera went on. If I can switch it, I will. Oh, I can't. So this is my crappy camera. Sorry about that. So I just recognized the wrong light was on. Human error. I guess I need a system for my camera. So open bids are bids that we've completed. I've completed the bid and I've sent it out to the client or the prospect, and I'm just waiting to hear back. That's still something that I track. So I'm never wondering, oh, whatever happened to that bid I gave? There's a $2 million bid. Obviously, if it's 2 million, you're not going to, well, some companies might just let that slide, but if you get enough smaller bids, you may not know exactly where they are, right? So the idea is that I need to have a better tracking of what is out there and what the potential deadlines are for them to make a decision, right? Deadlines on the active bids for when they're due, deadlines on the open bids for when they're supposed to make a decision, and also updating those. So if they change, I've got a really good idea of when that's supposed to happen too. Okay, so that's open bids. Then we get into the fun part, right? The fun part is a one bid, right? A bid that we've won. Oh, that's great. So a one bid actually turns into backlog. All right. So this is now something we've been awarded. We know we have it. It's official. It's going to start in 2 months, 3 months, 3 days. Who knows what it might be? We can actually put that into our books as a backlog. It is money that is going to come. Now, here's the trick with that. Once we have a one bid, WON, that is in backlog, now we have to start focusing on efficiency and profit margin. It's really fun to talk about revenue and the size of a job and, oh, we just got a $2 million job. Okay, great. Is it bid at what margin? And are we capable of actually achieving that margin? A lot of times people don't have minimum restrictions within reason. And so they'll throw out bids and say, hey, we got that $2 million job. And they said, great. Well, what are we going to make on it? And they said, oh, about 2.5%. It's like 2.5%. Is it even worth it for all that work, right? So the success is often measured in the jobs that you don't get, not the jobs that you do get. So that's one. So there are many different things we want to track when it comes to the one. We want to look at the total number of bids that we won, the total dollar amount, the average bid, and track the sources that it came from, the contractors that it came from if you're dealing with GCs. And same thing with the active and upcoming and open. Those levels of the total number, the total dollar amount, the average dollar amount, which is great, and then where it came from. Then we have the one. This is the lost bid, and it's literally the lost bid because you didn't get it. But it's also the lost bid because you just kind of let it go. And so we lost it. That sucks. What do we do wrong? Maybe, or who's to blame? That's a better one, right? Whose fault is this? But what are we to learn is much more important. So let me explain. A lost bid. So if we're looking at contracting, right? If you're a contractor, a subcontractor, and you lose a bid, and you didn't bid with multiple GCs, the question is, why not? Who won the bid, right? Why are you not connected with that? Now, some subs and GCs have had falling outs in the past, don't have great relationships, so you know why you're not bidding with certain GCs right now. But there are GCs that maybe you don't know about, that maybe you're not familiar with. Maybe they're new in the area, or maybe you never stopped to look, but you just knew that you lost the bid. So you want to find out those other GCs, bang. Now a lost estimate, lost quote becomes a form of lead generation. If you don't know those businesses, or if you do know them and say, hey, why aren't we bidding with them again? They said, oh, I don't know, because Chuck so-and-so was over there. Okay, well, Chuck, retired 5 years ago over there. So he used to have a connection maybe with a different sub. His brother-in-law or somebody did work for him. Well, he's gone and nobody's bothered to reach out to them. So there's a lead generator for you. Another thing is, it doesn't ever hurt to call. And if you've got a great relationship with the prospect, to call and say, hey, is there anything we could have done different? Is there anything you didn't like? Something about the presentation, something you didn't like. Now, don't think that the only reason for people to pass on you is because you weren't the low bid. There are 3 tenets of selling that apply here. Okay, you've probably heard this before. If not, it's the first time. If so, remember it. Number 1, you can get it cheap. Number 2, you can get it on time. Number 2, you can get it high quality. The problem is you can only pick 2 of these at one time. You can get it cheap and on time, but it's going to be low quality, or cheap and quick, low quality. You can get it on time and high quality, but it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be very expensive because that's what you're paying for, or at least not cheap, if that's the word. And then last, you could get it made well or high quality and at a low cost, but it is going to take a long time. Okay. That's it. Now, when we look at these things, you say, "Gosh, I feel like I have these ideas for what I want to do with my bids and how I present them, and trying to sell a certain value that I don't really think that my competitors have." And that might be the case, right? They may not have the same value that you do, but you also may be trying to sell and market to a demographic that doesn't really hold the same values that you do as a business. Remember, I had a house in Syracuse, New York, and we lived in Syracuse. When we moved in, we got California closets in the whole house, and I think it was some ridiculous price, but we just made a lot of money on a property in Los Angeles. So I think it was $10,000 worth of closets, the entire house, pantries, everything. And when we moved, it was like 18 months later we moved because the winters in Syracuse are horrible and we forgot. But there was a family from another country in the Middle East. I think not that it has anything to do with it, but there was a difference, and it probably wasn't cultural, but they just didn't really care about the closets. Like literally, I remember putting it on there like we invested this, and they literally did not care. The value they had, they did not value that. Now, other people may have come in, another family may have come in and say, "Wow, wow, I love the closets in here. We're used to just wires or whatever." The other ones didn't care. So if I'm going to continue to be disappointed by the fact that I'm trying to sell a certain value that somebody else doesn't value, I'm going to be in trouble. So remember, you can't push a rope. So why try and change the business to accommodate somebody else's values? Now, you have to do some soul searching to say maybe this is or isn't a very important uh, uh, staple or an important aspect of value in the business, but maybe this is the thing that we do better than everybody else, which is why we're not the cheapest. And people are willing to give us the time to do it the way we do it and to do it right, and they'll pay us. When we can establish that demographic by looking at the quote tracking system, then it makes it really easy to see what the opportunities have in common, whether it be the dollar amount or whatever. There are different demographics. We can also track the types of jobs, the geographic area for why certain estimates are or aren't winning. And then when we put that all together, we can improve the system. So just take a couple minutes and look through maybe your last 10 lost bids. What do you find in common? Is the same name on there that you lost it to? If you don't know who you lost that bid to, well, that's your fault. There's no reason why you can't at least ask. You may not get all the details of specifically how much they bid, or that should be the same specs on whatever it is that you're trying to get from them, whether it's the number of t-shirts or something like that you're trying to sell or trying to provide. But at the same time, you should at least find out who you lost it to. And if you find the same name on there, then you've got to start doing a competitive analysis and asking yourself why. Wow, that's surprising. Why do we keep losing jobs to them? Maybe we're shooting in the wrong area, or maybe there's something we need to shift and change about our business and our model. Or maybe it's simply the way we deliver our quotes. Instead of handing in handwritten napkins, maybe we need to change the professionalism. Maybe hand deliver them. Maybe instead of just sending them in, if you have this wherewithal, because sometimes you don't. Sometimes they request actually sealed bids. Nobody sees them. You don't talk to anybody. You just hand them in. And sometimes if somebody just wants a quote, say on a website, the idea might be, I'm not just going to send you a quote. I will prepare a quote based on your needs after doing a needs analysis. And then you and I are going to set up a 30-minute meeting after this, that next week, that we can go through and talk more about this. I'm not just going to send you something and hope you understand the value in it that I understand our company provides. All of this you can learn through setting up that system. So if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to field those. If you can send me an email if you'd like, fostermccarl@actioncoach.com. Be happy to help any way I can. So hopefully you have a great day and happy tracking.